It's Nick here from Childcare Business Growth. So today I'm joined by a very good friend of mine, Dr. Teri DeLucca from Impact Early Education. Teri, thank you so much for joining me today. Do you want to tell everyone a little bit about you and your background, if you don't mind, just to get started?
Sure. Thanks for having me. I'm so excited to chat today. So let's see, my background. I have a long history of experience in this industry. I started out in the research world. So I was doing very, very different things. I got my graduate degrees are in developmental psychology and educational psychology. And I started off as a research scientist. So I was investigating all the ways that children's learned, what works best in the classroom for teacher-child interaction, published articles, was presenting research everywhere, and then decided to make a giant career shift. And I went into an applied position where I was actually taking over and running schools for some owners. So it was a system of privately owned schools. We had 2 traditional, 1 Montessori, and I think we grew to 6, maybe okay. 7 extended day programs, 2 large summer camps. And so I did that for maybe 8-9 years. Loved it. And that's what led to me founding Impact Early Education, which is a professional development institute for early educators.
So I'm going to go back a step, if you don't mind, just really quick. You touched on, you did all the research, first of all, around, children in educational settings.
Right.
What were some of the things you were finding when you were doing that particular role, first of all?
Sure. So a lot of my work actually was focused on low-income children. And so we found the very strong impact of family income on later child outcomes and their academic achievement. But what was most, what stood out the most and what really led to what I do today is the powerful role of teachers. So that teacher-child interaction, the language that's spoken in the classroom, and just the way the school is run overall, is such strong predictors. If you look at things like the Perry Preschool Project, and I will nerd out on you, Nick, if I start talking about research, but there is so much rich data out there just showing how powerful it is that these little small interactions that teachers have throughout the day, how they handle an outburst or a meltdown, how responsive are they, and just the tone of their voice, even how that will not only just affect the child's day, but it's actually affecting neuronal connections in the brain. So how they're learning, how they're thinking about themselves as a student. Do they belong? Are they enough? Are they good at school? And that's what sets them up for when they start primary school, when they go into elementary school. And so it's just one of my biggest, I think you would say, purpose in everything I do is to help early educators see that they have such a strong role. Like you're sitting on it's such a foundation for everything that a child's life is going to become. And that affects all that we do, really. So I don't think people realize what a powerful seat they have to be in a classroom with a child.
I love that. I couldn't agree with you more. The impact you can have on, like you say, not only their day, but later in life, and just massive impacts. And which we'll go on to, or which is going to lead me into where we're going to go in a second with where you feel the challenges are. But just a quick reminder to everyone, those of you that are watching these lives, don't forget, so CBG Live is literally about less than 20 days away now. So for those of you that haven't secured your tickets yet, there's an opportunity for you to get a free ticket by letting us know your name and where you're joining us from in the chat. And we will then pick a winner off the back of these. For those of you that are still interested in joining us, maybe financially you're struggling right now and you're struggling to get there. Well, this is an opportunity for you guys to get a free ticket to come and join us as well. So make sure you put a comment in, let us know where you join us from, and we'll get you a ticket to come and join us live. So, Teri, tell me a little bit, and if you don't mind, about where do you feel, particularly since obviously COVID and everything else has happened, where do you feel some of the biggest challenges are right now in the industry?
Oh, there's so many. I feel like our industry is in a crisis, honestly. And so at the teacher level, it's a lack of knowledge of what to do, of how to handle different situations. So we have a lot of teachers left the preschool classroom and went and found other positions. And the ones that are now filling our classrooms don't have the background. They may not have the length of experience that some previous teachers have had before COVID. And so things will happen that just in the life of a classroom, the chaotic, hectic parts that happen, and they're not equipped with what to do in those situations, and they get stressed, they get overwhelmed, burn out, they leave. But one of the biggest, I think, probably overarching struggle we're seeing is for our owners and our directors. And so the staffing crisis that's brewing, that has been facing us, has become so pronounced that now the owners and directors, we had this before. It's always been that way, where we have, you're just busy. You can't ever get to the big giant things on your to-do list, right? Because you're putting up all the little fires that come out. You're spread too thin. But I feel like that's been so exacerbated since COVID. And the clients that I have, they'll have to cancel our coaching sessions or reschedule different meetings because they're in a classroom, they're driving a bus, they're on the playground with the kids. And sure, they have these lofty goals of different hiring processes to put in place, how they're going to be interviewing differently, maybe a new marketing strategy they want to do, and all these great things on their list, but they can't get to it because every day is a new problem that comes up, and they can't, we got to keep our schools at full capacity. We're working towards that beautiful wait list. And ironically, some of our clients, they have, 100, 150 families on a wait list, but yet empty classrooms because they can't staff. And so we're just in a very different time, and it requires different thinking and different strategies than what we've done before. And it's so important that our owners and our directors stay ahead of that burnout, because you will burn out if you continue to have to put work before family. That should never happen, and it's happening. And so that's a giant hurdle and crisis that's facing a lot of people right now. And it's not just in the States, it's internationally. So it's our entire industry.
Yeah. And obviously, one of the things I'm excited that you're going to talk about at the event, and just to be clear here, so Teri's actually going to be talking on the Sunday immediately after lunch. And this is a session you definitely don't want to miss. But at the same time, we're going to be doing a breakout session where one of Teri's team, Brittany, is actually going to be running a session specifically for your teachers. Okay.
Right.
So the great thing here, the great opportunity with this is we're going to run those two sessions simultaneously. So Brittany's going to be talking about how to get the teachers involved, how to bring back that passion, bring back that love, really get those teachers engaged and having an impact. But then, Teri, tell us a little bit about what you're going to talk about at the same time while the teachers are off over with Brittany in another room.
Sure. I'm actually going to talk about what I was just mentioning, this struggle that the owners and directors are facing, but then give some targeted solutions. So we're going to walk through the process of the different stages that you might find your school in. And then I have several very, very applicable things that you can put in practice the next day when you go back to your schools, stuff that you can be doing differently, and also some different ways to think as well, because how we think about the different problems that come up and how we think about ourselves as leaders affects everything. And so we're going to go through some very targeted sessions. And for those of you attending, I just asked Nick before this, if I'm after lunch, are you going to give them coffee or something? so we can keep you engaged in learning and have some fun too.
Yeah, we've got a really great afternoon on that Sunday afternoon. I'm super excited what we're going to share. But what I love what you just touched on as well there, Teri, is you're going to give them actionable steps that they can literally take away and implement the very next day. And that's one of the big things we're trying to do with every single speaker at this event is, let's not just talk about hype. Let's not talk about, different ideas and theories. Let's actually give you some things. We know that if you go back tomorrow, you can take those things and implement them straight away into your business. And we've got a mix of different people come in. We've got people that are, multi-site operators. We've got people that are on one location. And we've got people that are new to the industry, but also people that have in-home centers, for example.
Right. The
things you're going to share, are they, just to be clear here, because lots of people sometimes say, oh, that's not relevant to me because I don't own a big center, I have a home center. So I'm sure the things you're going to cover off are going to be relevant to everyone.
Yes, absolutely. So we actually, our client base, we have, maybe 20% or so of our clients are home family providers. So they're operating a school out of their home. And then we do have multi-site centers that are in multiple states within the United States. And so the content that we have, the tips that we share can be used depending on, it's targeted for whichever applies to you. So applicable to all who will be in attendance. It's very important to us that, we don't want to leave any school out. They all have their own unique struggles, yes, but there's some commonalities as well.
Yeah, and even if you're only working with 1 or 2 children right now, maybe you're just starting out. The same, same principles apply. It's an opportunity to learn and put these strategies in place from day one.
Exactly.
So I think your session is going to be very, very impactful on that. So tell us, if you were to give someone a tip right now, what would be your number one tip? It can be to do with anything you want to talk about, but what would be your number one tip that you would give them to take away right now?
Sure. Actually, I would say start with you. And so everyone's, and usually an owner or director, you're so focused on your staff and your employees. You could actually start this today. So that's a little challenge for all the listeners out there. So start with you and focus on your own personal leadership, because even our very best leaders amongst us, it's always a journey. We never arrive. And so what I mean by personal leadership, it's not necessarily how you're leading your team in your school. I mean how you lead yourself. And so that's how you think about situations that come up, the stories you tell yourself throughout the day about different interactions you have. How are you handling different conversations with your team, with families, with your spouse? And so that those personal leadership skills that you have affect everything in your life, personal and business. And so it's really, really important. Probably the most important thing that you could be doing to help your school is to dive deep starting today. Listen to some podcasts. You can listen to books in your car, audible books if you need, driving to work instead of listening to music or having a phone call. You could come to us. We have some fantastic courses on this, but that is something you could do immediately, because everything in our schools rises and falls on leadership. And you cannot be the best leader that your team, that those children and families need to pour into them if you don't have those skills yourself within you to know how to handle all the pressures that are on us. It's a tough job, and people outside of our industry, sure, we have leaders and business leaders. You don't get it if you're not in it. It's hard to understand. We have such a very unique field and unique industry, and so pour into yourself. And again, that's something you could start doing today. There's some fantastic podcasts out there.
Love that. And for those of you that are watching this as well, don't forget on the Saturday night for CBG Live, one of the things we're going to be doing is the roundtable sessions. And I say this to every single person: if you're going to any event, regardless whether it's CBG Live or any other event out there, you should always go prepared with your questions. And I think so many people just get involved in the hype of going to an event. They get really excited about the event, but they don't prepare for the event. They'll do all their travel arrangements and everything else, but they don't actually prep. So if you've got challenges going on right now and you're struggling with leadership, or you're worried about burnout, keep a notepad beside you. The event's like 3 weeks away now. Keep a notepad beside you and list down all those thoughts or questions that you want to ask these amazing speakers and coaches when you come to the event, because that's what the roundtable session is all about. This isn't just a conference where you sit there and listen to speakers. You're actually going to have an opportunity to go up to these individual speakers and coaches and ask your questions one-on-one. So I keep beating the same drum every day when we're doing these lives, because I don't want people to come and they're not prepared. I know, Terry, you do a lot of conferences, don't you? You travel around.
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
What would be your biggest tip for someone going to a conference, just to be prepared?
Right. Well, also, I would say this is hard. So this is another challenge. You didn't know I was going to come on and challenge everyone. So definitely be prepared. Write down your questions. I just had a client yesterday call and, what do I do if a little question? So what if a teacher talked to another teacher? They're making more money. They want to make the same, amount. Now they're going to quit. What do I do? And, those little tiny things that come up, write that down. Anything that you have between now and the conference that feels like, I just don't know, write it down. Little stuff like that. We're happy to help. We get joy in helping. But my challenge would be, so one of the beautiful things at a conference is you're surrounded, one of the very few times probably in your entire year, you're going to be surrounded with like minds, with people who share your passion, who also share your struggles and who get it. And so when you're in a session, sure, take notes, be engaged, listen to the speaker, but a lot of powerful stuff happens outside of the sessions when you're looking for your seat, when you're walking in the free time, when you're getting coffee. Step out of your comfort zone. Don't just talk to the one or two people especially if someone they seem a little unapproachable, or maybe I'm shy, I'm an introvert, or, you know, those types of things that we tell ourselves. Don't be. No one at this conference knows you. Maybe you're not this time, right? So step out of that, challenge yourself, go up to someone and just ask, hey, so where are you from? You know what? Just strike up some conversations, because this is an opportunity for you to make some connections, even if it's just, hey, you know, let's find each other on Facebook. Send an email and say, be the one, you be the one to step out of that box and reach out to someone else and say, what did you do when this happens? Because you're not more than likely going to be around competitors. You're coming from all over. So you don't necessarily need to have that fear of sharing, you know, secrets that they're going to get all of my fans. Don't worry about that. Just take this opportunity to make some friends in the industry that you can reach out to in the heat of those hard times, because there's I feel like we're so isolated in our schools. Like, we don't want to reach out to other directors and owners because we don't want them to steal our business and get our families or get our staff, right? Our key staff. And so this is your chance. So just be brave and be awkward. It's okay to be awkward. We all are sometimes. And put yourself out there and make at least 5, I would say challenge yourself with 5 new contacts, 5 new friends.
I love that. Yeah.
So,
we've got a very unique way that we're going to do something. I can't tell you because my team will kill me. But
come on. It's just all of us, Nick.
I just like to drop those little nuggets and just leave you guys hanging. But we've got some very exciting things that we're going to be doing at the event, which will make this event very, very different to anything else that's going on out there right now. So I'm super excited to share those with you because it's all going to kick off Friday night at the party. And there's some very interesting things we're going to be doing. So make sure you come along to the Friday night party too. It's going to be really good fun. So, Teri, I am very, very grateful for you joining me today. I know Brittany's going to be at the event as well. And same thing, get your teachers to do exactly what Teri was just talking about. If there's any questions at all, get your teachers to list down those questions too and bring them to the event, okay? Don't just come to this event. You've made that investment in terms of money and time and everything else. Now spend some time listing those questions down. Get everything prepared. When you come to this event, you leave with all those questions answered and a whole lot more that you can take back and implement in your business straight away. So, Teri, last one from me, because obviously this is all about, you guys come in, we're going to have an amazing speaker lineup, but why do you think people should come to CBG Live over any other event out there? Not that you're biased in any way, but why should they be coming to this particular one next month?
Oh, I think it's so different. The way that you're approaching everything, the speaker lineup, I'm not just saying that because I'm a speaker, but looking at who will be up on stage, you've got some incredible speakers coming. The way that you've organized everything to make it fun, to make it approachable. It's not just who you are, your personality. This is not going to be some boring conference where you're like nodding off, trying to pay attention. You've got it perfectly set up to have experts in so many different areas. So it's not just one broad thing. We're going to have different people who can focus on staffing and hiring, on leadership, on teachers, on business growth, expansion, marketing. There's just everything you need in one spot. And there's going to be that energy. You get revigorized. You get that being around like-minded people. So it's an opportunity to make some new connections, get the targeted help you need, one-on-one, face-to-face, instead of sitting there Googling, trying to find answers to everything.
Yeah, and I think you're right. I actually just listened to you say that there, and I'm getting so excited by the event because we officially, just so everyone knows, we officially sold out of rooms on Monday, but don't worry, we have actually managed to negotiate with the hotel and add more rooms on. But there are certain nights, like the Thursday nights, completely sold out to the hotel now. So if you haven't got your tickets and you need to come along, you're going to be staying in the hotel Friday, Saturday, Sunday, please don't delay any longer. So many people sit on the fence for a while and eventually then try and book tickets the day before, okay? We will be shutting down registration very soon, so you guys need to make sure you get your tickets booked because I do not want you to miss out on this amazing opportunity. So, Teri, I am very, very grateful for you joining me today. And I can't wait to see you in 3 weeks from now in Orlando.
Yes, can't wait. Thank you for having me. And I look forward to meeting everyone there. Come up and say hi.
Thank you.